In a world where credit flows rather freely, a moment's carelessness can plunge you into a sea of debt that strips away your peace of mind. While debt could be a powerful tool if used wisely, this same debt could actually be a storm that steals away your peace of mind and threatens almost everything that you have. Now, here are three strategies that you can employ rather quickly to get you swimming out of debt. The very first strategy is for you to actually get all of your debt together. It's so sad to know that so many people don't even know how much they owe. If you don't know how much you owe, how then are you going to pay it back? And if you're not careful, that debt that you thought was once $1,000 would quickly and soon become $5,000 due to interest rate. So it's very important that you get on top of your debt by consolidating your debt together. Know exactly how much you owe, from credit card to car notes to whatever it is that you owe. Put all of them in an Excel sheet from smallest figure to highest figure so that you know exactly what you owe. Now, once you understand exactly what you owe, I want you to take a look at your finances. And that's why it's very important that you have a budget. Because when you have a budget, then you know how much you're saving, and then you can tell how much you can move towards repaying those debt. But if you don't have a budget, if you don't know how much you're spending on expenses, then how are you going to take care of your debt? And no wonder you're even in debt in the first place. So it's important that you put together your budget, have all your income in one place, and get together all of your expenses so you know exactly what is coming in and what it's going out. Now, let's assume that you have a budget. Now, go through your budget to know how much you have as leftover. I expect you to be saving a percentage of your income. Now it's time for you to take a look at that consolidated sheet for you to know how much you can put towards your debt, because we know the minimum payment will never be enough. If you take a look at your bill, sometimes if you notice, you would see that if you're owing even as little as maybe $2,000 and you're paying the barest minimum, sometimes you would see that it would write somewhere that's going to take you 8 years to pay back $1,000 or $2,000. And at the end of that 8 years, you would have probably paid about $4,000 or probably $5,000. That's always the case. But many times we're not paying attention to those details. We're just swiping and swiping and swiping. And before you know it, you are owing $100,000 and you earn $50,000. How did you get there? Anyways, we're not here to judge. We are here to help you fix the mess that you got yourself into. So first thing first, get a budget, consolidate all of your debt. Now, once you have that consolidated and you figure out how much you have from your budget that you can apply towards your debt, I need you to apply the snowball method towards paying back your debt. And what does this mean? It means that you're going to start paying off your smallest credit card debt, whatever that might be, right? So let's assume that you have different types of debt, and maybe you owe, maybe in one card, 5,000, another card, 10,000, another card, 2,000, another card, 30,000, and whatnot. And you have maybe a car note of maybe 25,000. I want you to pay off $2,000 first, and then pay off $5,000, and then pay off $10,000 until you get to $25,000. Now, why are we using this approach? Because when you pay the smallest amount first, you get to have that small win, right? So let's say you're owing, in 5 categories and you pay off $2,000. Now you have 4 categories left, right? So, to ourselves, it looks like we are making progress. And in reality, we're making progress. We've paid off $2,000 off of that entire loan, rather than you spreading the money where you're paying 500 towards this one and 500 towards that one and 500 towards that one. Sometimes it looks like we're not making any effort, because sometimes some credit cards, that 500 might only be going towards interest. And so even though you paid $500, your account balance is still almost the same, because the next month you accrued another interest. So I want you to just ignore all the interest and just tackle it based on the amount of balance that you have on each card. So that way you can just pay off $2,000 And then the next 5,000, you know that, it might take you maybe a couple of months to pay that off. And then you move to the next one. That is one of the easiest approach to use. Now, that is not the only approach out there, but that's an approach that has been tested and tried. And I know it works because that's what I use to pay off my credit card debt. So yes, I know what I'm talking about. I was once in debt, so don't ask me about that. But yes, I use this method to get rid of my debt. Now, the next strategy towards paying off your debt is to ensure that you're not spending more credits. Now, many times we have access to this credit card. Sometimes your credit card has $30,000 in it and you think you have money. No, you don't have money. You have access to $30,000 that you can borrow. On a good day, you should spend that $30,000, on things that would help you grow that money and make you more. But sometimes we get to spend it on liabilities, things that are not going to make us more money, and then we're swimming in debt. So the second strategy towards paying down your debt is to ensure that you're not creating more debt. And this is where you have to gather all of your credit cards and send them on a long-term journey of no return. Get all of them together, put them in a box, and lock it away if you decide that you do not want to close those credit cards. Me, for one, I did not close out my accounts because I have a feeling that I might need it for something very useful, right? So what I did was I packed up all of my credit cards, put it in a bag, and kind of just threw it somewhere, and I kind of lost track of where I put it. So I didn't have access to it. I couldn't spend it, even though those cards were still live and, they were still open. I didn't close my card, but I stopped using that card. I started to spend what I had from my debit card. So it was only the amount that I had available for me to spend in that particular month that I spent. And that way I started to see the numbers go down and go down and go down and go down until it was zero balance. Now, depending on how much you owe, that might take you a while, but that is progress that you're going to be seeing every month after month. So stop spending more credit if you actually want to pay down on what you already owe. Now, another strategy that will help you pay off your debt much quicker is actually for you to start a side hustle. Because in reality, the amount that we make is not enough. And that's sometimes the reason that we start spending off this credit card. So this is the opportunity for you to know that, hey, I have been living off credit card because I don't earn enough. And now is the time for me to go find another job that will pay me more, or start a side hustle, start a freelance business that will start earning me more. One of the things that I did that actually helps me pay off my debt was my consulting business, right? So I'm an agile coach. I sell agile services. I have a coaching program. I sell courses. I have a community. I do all kinds of things that fetch me money. And all of those things during the time where I was owing a lot, all of those extra, hustle was going to as repaying my debt. So every extra income, I'm paying it off. Every extra income, I am paying off. This is not the time for you to go on vacation. This is not the time for you to look at that new bag. This is not the time to go eat at that expensive restaurant. When you have a goal to pay off your debt, you've got to be very careful. You can't just be spending money anyhow, because if you keep doing what you've always done, then you would never get out of debt. So if you are serious about getting out of debt, then you've got to change the behaviors that led you into debt in the first place. And that starts with how you spend money, right? That vacation is not going away. If you don't take it this year, you have next year to take it, right? It's not going to kill you. But sometimes when we're swimming in debt, it can affect our mental health. It could just affect everything about us. We could get depressed. And then guess what happens if maybe you lose a source of income? Then you get overly stressed because now you are in a higher pile of debt that you don't seem to know your way out. So before we get there, let's clean up the mess that we got ourselves into and climb out of debt so that we can be more confident, we can be more happy, and then we can plan for our vacations, plan for that bag, plan for that restaurant, and just live a peaceful life. And it's actually possible for you to be debt-free. So I hope that these 3 strategies actually help you get started on your journey towards becoming debt-free. Wishing you all the best. And if you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to turn on your notification so that whenever I drop the next video, you will be the first person to watch it. Thank you very much for watching, and I can't wait to see you in my next video. Bye.